How's it going, Bookaholics? Welcome, April, and hello, spring. I can't believe we've already entered into the springtime of the year. It seems like it still should be somewhere a little after Christmas to me, but we're in spring and I'm really glad. So, this is the right space for you if you love books, book news, and hearing author interviews. To show your love, if you're listening to me on my podcast on your favorite podcasting platform, just follow me and download the episode. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell, the notification bell, so that you can be aware whenever I upload a podcast, which is slash video in my world. Okay, well, let's get into April and what's in store on the Bookaholic channel just for you. Well, first of all, April is Poetry Month. It is also Library Month. And here on Bookaholic, I've designated it as the Writer's Workshop. Let's talk poetry. Now, if you've been following me for quite a while, you know that at the beginning of the year, I think back to episode 8, which I'll try to tag here and also give a link to that in the podcast. I talk about how I hated poetry and how I'm trying to grow and learn and do better in regards to poetry. You know, that there's got to be something out there that I would like to read poetry and doing better to try to understand that particular genre. And so you may have seen also my interview, it was episode 9, with the North Carolina Poet Laureate, Jackie Shelton Green. And she has brought me a long way in understanding poetry and getting into that particular genre. And I've certainly purchased many poetry books. I purchased the Best American Poetry for 2021, Amanda Gorman's new book, and I recently purchased a book from Honoree Fannon Jeffers. So I'm doing my poetry bit and I'm trying to get better and I'm trying to grow in that. So please join me if poetry is challenging to you. Just check out my Instagram and all of my other social media handles. I will give you some poetry, some folks you may want to try to read from. Audre Lorde is another revered poet. So, just check it out. But let's recognize poetry in National Poetry Month. Also, as I said, April is Library Month. Now, Library Month is so important on so many different levels. It's totally free. And many libraries dropped library fines. So going to the library is even better than ever. And my oldest sister first took me to the public library in my town. And what better way to show love to someone, an act of kindness to someone, than to take a child to the public library, because there's much more there than books. So it's just a whole eye-opening experience. At least it was for me. And when I got my first library card, it was my first little card. It wasn't a driver's license. It wasn't a credit card, but it was my first little card that was important and I had to keep up with it. So, if you're a parent, that great, cool aunt or uncle, cousin, volunteer, show kindness to a child and take them to the library this month. Introduce them to that whole world and let them sign up for a library card. Now, last but not least, as far as the month is concerned, I have designated April as Writer's Workshop. I began to realize and, of course, know that a lot of avid readers are also budding or struggling writers. And so I reached out to a lot of different writers who have exceptional tips on their writing process. They're willing to give up information about their process, how they come up with names of characters, the places. There's also some book coaches that will be interviewed for this month. So stay tuned to my YouTube channel and the podcast, my social media, and you'll see when I drop episodes of authors who will provide a quote unquote writer's workshop for you and give you tips on how to overcome writer's block, starting your novel, where did they start from? It's all very interesting. So this would be definitely an opportunity for those of you who want to pen that next great novel. Okay, so what are we reading for the month of April? Well, if you've been following the channel, we've been reading 4 and 5 books a month. And so I thought April would be a good time to dial back our number of books that I'm recommending for reading so that, one, you can read those books, but also possibly catch up with some of the other books that I've recommended. So drum roll, please. The books that we're reading for April are The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley and Black Cake, the debut novel by Charmaine Wilkerson. So those are 2 novels that are not tomes, and they're mysteries, and they've got a little bit of everything in them. And so they should be very relaxing and intriguing. I've put out a lot of heavy book recommendations earlier this year, so I thought myself and you should have a little bit of a break, but those should be 2 very enjoyable books. They're certainly flying off the shelves, so I'm pretty sure that you'll like them too. I'm hoping. So there you have it. That's my April overview. I hope you'll be able to listen to all the episodes and join me on Sunday. Thank you for watching and listening. I appreciate you very much. Goodbye for now.
Thank you for joining the Bookaholic podcast. We appreciate your support. Remember to subscribe to the podcast, follow us on Instagram at True Bookaholic. You can also email us at readingjunkie@book-a-holic.com. Don't forget to support your local library and independent bookstores.